Hi everyone, and welcome to this short video about how to build a sentence. Sentences are pretty important in writing. They are actually the building blocks of writing. So let's see if we can work out what a sentence actually is. Are they sentences? Read through them and see what you think. Put the video on pause if you need to. If you thought that the first one and the third one were sentences, you'd be correct. Cats are cool makes sense on its own. Students who enjoy learning are set for success. Yes, that makes sense. But beans, what does that mean? Not much. And the fourth example, because she likes it that way, doesn't sound complete. It doesn't make sense on its own. So a sentence, above all, has to sound complete. And a sentence has to have a verb. So you'll see the coloured words there are all verbs. The second example doesn't have a verb, so that doesn't work. But even the fourth example has a verb, likes, because she likes it that way, but it's still not a complete thought, it's still not a sentence. What is a verb though? Well, you may have learnt about verbs when you were at school, and you probably learnt that they were an action word or a doing word, and they usually are. So words like eat, drive, run, start. Frank drives a combi. There's the verb, drives. But they can be one word or a group of words. So it could be Frank was driving a combi. Was driving is the verb group there. And you can see how the verbs give you that indication of time. So the first sentence sounds like it's happening now, whereas was driving sounds like it's happened in the past. But verbs aren't always about action. They can also be a state or being words, like is, are, am, was, were. Frank is a circus performer. Is the verb. Frank was tired after his performance. Was is the verb there. So we know then that a sentence has a verb or a verb group, and it has to sound complete. There are three different types of sentences. Don't be put off by that word complex. It's really not that hard. Let's have a look at simple sentences first of all. A simple sentence expresses one complete thought, one main idea. So they will only have one verb or verb group. For example, Zach laughed. Laughed is the verb, it sounds complete. That's a simple sentence. He was laughing at his teacher's ridiculous purple and green spotted tie. Again, that's a simple sentence. The verb group is was laughing. Even though it's a much longer sentence, it's still just a simple sentence. Compound sentences, on the other hand, are when you have two or more simple sentences or complete thoughts joined together. Pat had spent all his savings on a new ute. He borrowed some money for insurance. Those are two simple sentences, but we can join them pretty easily by adding what we call conjunctions. So those are little words like for, and, nor, but, or, yet, or so. They're only small words, but they pack a punch. They're pretty powerful in writing. Pat had spent all his savings on his new ute, so he borrowed some money for insurance. So is joining those two complete thoughts. That's a compound sentence. So a compound sentence will contain two or more verbs or verb groups. Now, problems occur when we don't add those conjunctions and we just let those simple sentences run on together with a comma. Pat had spent all his savings on a new ute. He borrowed some money for insurance. Uh-oh. There's some easy ways to fix that though. we can add that little word so, and then it makes perfect sense. Pat spent all his savings on a new ute, so he borrowed some money for insurance. Or you can insert a full stop and just make it two short sentences, and that also works perfectly. Complex sentences are similar but different to compound. A complex sentence has a complete idea and then it's got an extra bit that's dependent on the first bit to make sense. So nursing is a demanding profession, although the rewards are many. So nursing is a demanding profession. That's the main part. That's the complete part. Although the rewards are many, that's the dependent part. Or if you want to get technical, a dependent clause. So the dependent clauses start with words like if, when, although, because, unless, where, who, until. One of the really neat things about these sentences is that actually the dependent part can come at the start or the end. You can switch them around. You can't do that with compound sentences. So you could say, although the rewards are many, nursing is a demanding profession. Still makes sense. Notice the use of the comma there when you have the dependent part at the start of the sentence. But problems occur when we take those dependent parts and write them as if they are a sentence on their own. Matilda spreads the Vegemite very lightly on her toast because she likes it that way. Because she likes it that way is not a complete sentence, but it's an easy fix. You can make it one sentence by simply adding because she likes it that way onto the first part. So we have to try and learn to recognise fragments. They can be a bit tricky. When you see because or other words like that at the start of the sentence, just be sure that there is a second part, a main part, to make it complete. Because the government is attempting to bypass the Senate with an increased tax on fuel affecting commuters and the transport industry, we haven't got the full idea here. We need something more for that to make sense. Hopefully there's a few tips there for you to help you with your sentences. Remember, it's all about keeping your ideas clear, precise, organised, and complete. Read your work out loud. Listen for the natural breaks. Listen to see that those thoughts sound complete. Good luck.